Today we're going to talk about dividing fractions and mixed numbers. Carrie is painting her house and she has 4.5 walls left to paint. But she only has 5/6 of a gallon of paint left. How much paint can she use on each of those 4.5 walls in order to have enough to paint them all? Let's first remember our data. Carrie, she has 4.5 walls left to paint and she only has 5/6 gallons left. How can she take that 5/6 gallon and spread it out to the 4.5 walls equally? Oh wait, spreading out equally, that's division. We can write this like this. That 5/6 gallon of paint, we want to divide it into equal groups 4.5 times. 4.5. Well, this is different. How would we divide 5/6 by 4.5? Well, let's think about what 4.5 is actually saying. 4 whole and 1/2. Now, what are those wholes? Well, we know they're made up of halves because that 1/2 is giving us a clue. 4 wholes of 1/2. So how many halves make a whole? 2. 2 halves make a whole, and we have 4 of them. So there's 2 halves, 2 halves, 2 halves, 2 halves. 4 of them, 4 whole, plus this 1/2 left over. Wait, what would that equal? 2, 4, 6, 8. Those 4 whole groups of halves would equal 8 halves, right? We can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 halves. 8 halves, and there's 1/2 left. What would that equal? Yeah, 9 halves. So it's totally correct for us to say that 4.5 is equivalent to 9 halves, because we had 4 whole and 1/2. So, Carrie, she has that 5/6 gallon of paint left, and she had the 4.5 walls. Well, we just found out that those 4.5 walls is actually the same as saying 9 halves of walls. So, our problem now looks like this. 5/6 divided by 9 halves. Remember, we changed 4.5 to be 9 halves, because they're the same thing. But this is helpful for us because remember our last lesson? Multiplicative inverse? Yeah, we simply flip the fraction. We take the numerator and denominator and have them change positions and multiply. And find that we will have 5 times 2 is 10, 6 times 9 is 54, 10 54ths. Oh, but we can simplify that, can't we? I can divide both by 2, and we'll be left with 5 27ths, which can't be simplified because nothing goes into 5 and 27. And so, Carrie can use 5 27ths of a gallon of paint on each of her remaining walls before she runs out. What about this problem? 2/5 divided by 3 and 4/7. 3 and 4/7, that's difficult. How do I divide 2/5 by 3 whole and 4/7? The better solution is to change 3 and 4/7 into an improper fraction, like we did on the last problem. So, what is 3 and 4/7 actually saying? Well, we're dealing with sevenths. Notice the 4/7. That's our clue. So how do we change 3 whole into sevenths? Well, 3 whole means we have 1, 2, 3 groups of a whole, which would be what? 7 over 7. So that's why we have 7 over 7, 7 over 7, 7 over 7. 3 of them. Those are 3 whole, plus that 4/7. So how many total sevenths do we have? 25 of them. If you added up all those sevenths, we would have had 25 sevenths. So 3 and 4/7 is equivalent to 25 sevenths. And so our problem now looks like this. 2/5 divided by 25 sevenths. And we can do this using multiplicative inverse, multiplying by the reciprocal, and we'll find that 2/5 divided by 25 sevenths is equal to 14 125ths. Here's another one. 3/4 divided by 6 2/3. 3/4 divided by 6 2/3. What is 6 2/3? Well, we're dealing with thirds, so how do I change my 6 into thirds? Well, it would be 3/3, 1, 3/3, 2, 3/3, 3, 3/3, 4, 3/3, 5, and 3/3, 6. There's my 6 whole, plus those 2/3. So altogether, the amount of thirds I'm dealing with is 20. So it's actually asking 3/4 divided by 20/3. Using multiplicative inverse, we know that 3/4 divided by 20/3 is the same as 3/4 times 3/20. And we'll come up with 9/80. Here's another. 1/3 divided by 4 3/4. As we've been learning, we need to change this 4 3/4 into an improper fraction. So, how many fourths are in 4? 1 whole would be 4/4, 2 whole would be another 4/4, 3 whole another 4/4, and 4 whole would be another 4/4, plus the 3/4. So 4/4 plus 4/4 plus 4/4 plus 4/4 plus 3/4 is the same as saying 4 3/4. And if we add up all those fourths, we have 19 of them. So our problem actually reads 1/3 divided by 19/4, which, using multiplicative inverse, is the same as saying 1/3 times 4/19, which equals 4/57. This one I want you to try on your own. 2/5 divided by 1 7/8. What does that equal? Work it out. Change this mixed number into an improper fraction, then use the multiplicative inverse to multiply. What if we had a problem where the mixed number came first? 7.5 divided by 5/6. Well, it's no different. Let's change this mixed number into an improper fraction like we've done before. So, 7.5. How many halves is 7.5? Well, I know 2 halves is 1 whole, and I need 7 whole, so I need to do 2 halves 7 times, and I need that 1 half left over. So I put those halves all together, and I have 15 halves. So the problem actually says 15 halves divided by 5/6. And we can use multiplicative inverse at this point. 15 halves times 6/5, which equals 90/10, which equals 9. I want you to try this problem on your own. 3 4/7 divided by 5/8. And lastly, try this problem. 10/13 divided by 2 4/7. The summary of what we've talked about today is that to divide a mixed number, we should first turn that mixed number into an improper fraction.